I wonder what this form takes. What is the local conference now with relation to the standardization? Thank you.
Thank you to my distinguished colleague from Canada, but I see nobody seated at the Vietnamese seat at the moment, so we can't provide an answer for you.
All right, I'll pursue that separately afterwards then. And I think the other one is from Mozambique. I don't think there's anybody here from Mozambique at the moment.
I cannot see anybody responding.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for those questions. And if I invite France to take the floor to ask questions that they may have.
Oui, je remercie, Monsieur le Président.
I don't have several questions. I just have one. And it's a question of Czechia and looking further into this. France is one of the countries that approved the abbreviated form. It's been a couple of years already. In France, the abbreviated form just hasn't caught on, isn't used that much. The question I would have for the representative of Czechia or the Czech Republic would be, the Czech population and their approach, is that just because of a conservative use, no desire to change, or is there any fundamental reason behind that? And if so, what are these reasons? Thank you.
Thank you. I pass the floor to the Czech Republic.
There definitely is no fundamental problem in the abbreviated version Czechia. I think maybe we need some more time to get used to the new name, because as I said in my answer to United Kingdom, we still are not very used to this, and maybe there is a problem in Czech language, because in the abbreviated version Česko, that's Czechia in Czech, we have a similar name for the part of Czech Republic that is Bohemia, and in Czech we call it Čechy. But it's not, the Česko and Čechy is not the same, because Čechy is without Moravia and Silesia, and people tend to use Čechy instead of Česko, but that's not correct, because it's not the whole country. So I think it's the same in as in France or other countries. In Czechia, the word Czechia, the name Czechia is still not very commonly used. But I think next generations will be more familiar with it, and our children and their children will start using Česko as any other name.
Thank you for that. Is there any other delegate that would like to ask a question or make a comment in relation to any of the country reports that have been presented thus far? I recognize the delegate from Saudi Arabia. You have the floor.
Thank you very much. I don't have a question. I am seeking an advice. We publish gazetteers, and we have been met with difficulties in some elongated features, land features, like sand seas. We have a sand sea that has one name and runs about 1,200 kilometers, and one mountain with one name that runs about 1,000 kilometers also. So on automated databases and maps, it's okay, we know that. But on published gazetteers, where to have the grids, where to take the grids. We've been trying so many ways, either to have so many points along these land features, like sometimes we have about 40 points, sometimes 60, and they are not enough. Some of them we take the middle point and put the grids, and people are complaining. So if there is anybody who has met this difficulty and has a solution, we'll welcome it to tell us, please.
Thank you for that. Just a clarification. This is how to actually then assign a label point for the name of the feature on various scales of mapping. I give the floor to Saudi Arabia.
Can you just say it again? I didn't hear. I was changing the languages. So can you say it again, please?
Certainly. This is a question in relation to effective labeling of various scales of mapping with the name so that the label actually appears correctly on the map that's being published.
No, this is on published gazetteers. On the map, you can go through the land feature and has as many grids as you want. But on the published gazetteer, so that we have a sand-sea called Ad-Dahna. But this Ad-Dahna runs 1,200 kilometers. And in the gazetteer, we have the grids, okay? People would like to know where this feature is, so we have the grid. So we've been having these difficulties. So sometimes we have about 60 points, but 60 points are also not enough. Even if we have, at least we have about 1,200 grids, 1,200 points, so that people would have this. So we don't know what to do. If there is anybody any country which has an experience in this or met with these difficulties, we want to know, please.
Thank you for that clarification, and I will invite any country that has a solution to this to pass it on to our delegation from Saudi Arabia to allow them to gain from your insight. Speaking as an Australian delegate rather than chair, and be even more specific than that, speaking as a South Australian representative from Australia, we have just recently amended our gazetteer structure to include feature-level metadata statements, which will include a field that will indicate what the coordinate point of a particular feature is, whether it's a centroid coordinate or a mouth of a stream or a point feature or whatever the case may be, to at least provide an indication to the users of the data what that coordinate actually represents in association to the feature. That may be a solution you could consider, but I don't think there's any easy answer for this. So please, colleagues, if you have any solutions, please advise the Saudi Arabian delegation of your thoughts as well. I have a comment from Slovenia.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, for the floor. I will try to suggest the distinguished delegate from Saudi Arabia. So in this case of question, we have to think from GIS point of view. So as you probably know, in GIS, we have three types of features, so points, polygons, and lines. And the feature you mentioned, it's, as far as I know, part of the line feature.